We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept the View's apology?
He's going to hunt you down. He's going to find out what's going on. And that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really corrupt and goofy systems and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
This Turning Point conference, the MOCKS were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs and the cigar.
You let them in.
President, open your
You let them in and you knew what they were.
Right.
So you are complicit.
But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
Joe Rogan didn't respond. He erupted. Right after Charlie Kirk dropped a $100 million lawsuit on The View, Rogan stormed in and torched the airwaves. This wasn't petty drama. This was a media massacre. The View accused Kirk of hosting a shady student event, but they messed with the wrong guy. Kirk fired back with legal thunder. Rogan? He lit the fuse on live mic, blasting the hosts for playing fast and loose with facts. 5,000 students, national headlines, and now a full-blown war between daytime TV and the podcast king. And trust this, Rogan's not done.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept the View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to...
To Joe Rogan, it wasn't just a bad take. It was a total disgrace. A smug hit job on thousands of young voices, all wrapped in fake concern and daytime drama. And Rogan, he saw right through it. He didn't pull punches. He roasted The View, calling it a clown car of chaos, where insults fly until someone throws back a lawsuit, and then suddenly the jokes stop. But this wasn't just any lawsuit. Charlie Kirk hit them with $100 million worth of payback. Not a slap on the wrist, a wrecking ball to their reputation. And Rogan, he sunk his teeth into it like a wolf on raw meat. With that signature smirk, he shredded their fake apology, calling it soap opera level nonsense. They weren't apologizing, they were panicking. And Rogan said it loud. They're not sorry for lying, they're sorry they might have to pay for it. The internet exploded. Rogan's comments racked up millions of views in hours. The View's defenders tried to fight back. But this time, the usual spin just fell flat. Then Rogan turned the flamethrower on Whoopi Goldberg. She actually said Biden could throw all Republicans in jail. He said, deadpan, eyes wide. What planet is this? Clips of Whoopi's rant went viral, but with Rogan's takedown, it turned into a full-on media meltdown. Because Joe Rogan doesn't just clap back, he detonates illusions. And this time, he didn't just expose hypocrisy, he humiliated it.
Has to be if you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sunny Hostin's
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sunny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it and it's nothing.
Just
there.
go for it. Yeah,
there's nothing there. Sometimes comics do that.
Audiences didn't just watch, they froze. Some laughed, some winced, but no one could look away. Because when Joe Rogan torched Sunny Hostin on air, he didn't just call her out, he demolished her. He zeroed in on her smug dismissal of Americans without college degrees, calling it what it was: elitist garbage dressed up as fake empathy. "You don't need a degree to have common sense," Rogan thundered. Some of the smartest people I've ever met never saw the inside of a classroom, and they'd wipe the floor with these so-called experts. And just like that, the focus shifted. This wasn't about one lawsuit anymore. It was about a pattern, a toxic culture of silencing and shaming anyone who dared to think differently. Rogan didn't let up. He dragged The View's record of shouting over conservative women only to play the victim when they get called out. And this time, everyone saw through it. Liberals, conservatives, and everyone in between. That's why this wasn't just viral. It was volcanic. The lawsuit, the fake apology, the phony outrage, and Rogan's savage truth-telling lit up the media like napalm. And through it all, Rogan stayed calm. Deadly calm. No script, no teleprompter, just razor-sharp truth bombs that hit like uppercuts. He replayed The View's meltdown, shaking his head. They sit there like moral gatekeepers, pointing fingers, handing out labels. But the moment a cease and desist lands, they go pale and start mumbling like they just forgot English. He didn't let the hypocrisy slide. He exposed it. He magnified it. He turned daytime arrogance into a national joke. Because this wasn't a slip-up. It was a full-blown media faceplant. And Joe Rogan held up the mirror, forcing America to watch every second of it crack wide open.
Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has that. He has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail. Welcome back. You know, in Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me, and it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So,
Joe Rogan didn't just mock The View, he lit them up, comparing their backpedal to a raccoon in a spotlight. Chaotic, clumsy, and fake. He had audiences howling. Social media exploded. Hashtag You Sue The View and hashtag Rogan Roast trended nonstop. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk stayed firm. No soft apologies, just demands for real accountability. Rogan backed him hard. They dragged teenagers into a smear campaign, Rogan snapped, and think they can wipe it away with 5 seconds of fake sorry? Not a chance. He slammed The View as an echo chamber where dissent is mocked, silenced, or edited out. Remember what they did to Meghan McCain? He added. Now they picked the wrong guy to mess with. This lawsuit wasn't just about Charlie Kirk. It was about every voice they've tried to bury. Rogan called it the reckoning daytime TV never saw coming. And the hosts? They didn't look tough. They looked terrified.
the Supreme Court says, yes, he has that. He has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
Megan, I get it. I also hate Joy Behar. So I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show? If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and fucking the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
the
X.
Okay.
Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's rough.
Their eyes say it all, Rogan said, and he meant it. The View wasn't just shaken, they were paralyzed. No tweets, no statements, no clapbacks, just silence. And for a show built on noise, that silence, deafening. Rogan smelled fear. You can fake confidence, he said, but your body gives you away. and they're practically screaming regret. Fans noticed too. Longtime viewers admitted they'd never seen The View this rattled. Rogan didn't let up. It's like reality TV meets a courtroom, he smirked. Only this time, the drama comes with a $100 million price tag. As The View scrambled for damage control, Rogan's face was everywhere, clapping back, exposing contradictions, and torching spin with raw truth. This isn't politics, he said. It's about basic decency, something The View clearly misplaced. Charlie Kirk stood cool and collected while Rogan turned up the heat. One side prepped for war, the other tried to plug a sinking ship. And when Rogan played the now infamous Whoopi clip, suggesting Biden could jail Republicans, he froze, stared dead into the camera, and asked the question millions were thinking: how is this even real?
I think the problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman, and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's just, it's a bizarre show.
This wasn't just a roast, it was comedic carnage. And it landed. As that unhinged clip of Whoopi spiraled across the internet, so did the realization. This wasn't satire, this was reality slipping off the rails. Reaction videos flooded in. Podcasts lit up, commentary exploded. And right in the center of the storm, Joe Rogan, calm, cutting, and absolutely relentless. Even mainstream outlets, usually tight-lipped, couldn't ignore it. The question on everyone's lips: had The View finally met its match? Rogan wasn't done. In a follow-up episode, he torched their victim act. Now they're sensitive, he said. Where was that when they dragged teenagers into a political firestorm? These weren't public figures, these were high school and college kids, targeted for just showing up. That's not journalism, Rogan fumed. That's a disgrace. And people listened. Parents, teachers, even apolitical viewers felt the shift. The View? They felt it too, and panicked. One host tried to clarify the chaos on air, and crashed. The explanation was shaky, awkward, and only gave Rogan more firepower. They're spinning now, he laughed. You don't walk this back with nervous stutters? It's too late. Thousands of comments flooded in. Even people who'd never watched The View suddenly wanted to know what the hell was happening. Rogan delivered the final blow. When the media targets everyday people for thinking differently, it's not entertainment, it's manipulation. He blasted their fake outrage cycles. One day it's moral panic, the next it's oops, and suddenly everything's fine again. That's not news, that's emotional bait. And while The View tried to calm the storm on air, Charlie Kirk's legal team quietly loaded their arsenal. Discovery was coming. Emails, memos, meeting notes, receipts.
The culture shift between right and left authoritarianism, and now people don't recognize that if you just stopped looking at it in terms of red and blue, look at the actions, whether it's war, suppression of free speech, pharmacological interventions that are mandatory, whatever it is, that used to all be associated with the authoritative right, the authoritarian right, and now those things are being embraced by the left. And I just think it's just an ideology thing, and I think we get confused and we think we're on the right side, and if it's our side that's saying this, for sure that's the right thing to do, and no one's critically thinking about this.
Joe Rogan is the gateway drug for young men that thought they were Democrats to become MAGA. Joe Rogan is the bridge, and on that bridge they'll see RFK.
This wasn't just a lawsuit, it was a reckoning, and The View felt every tremor. This wasn't public drama, this was personal destruction, and the claws were out. Rogan leaned in, eyes gleaming. Just wait for those depositions, he said. Everyone under oath, no escape, no edits. Just the thought had Hollywood studios sweating bullets. This wasn't tabloid fluff. It was a war on hypocrisy, and Rogan made it clear. Mainstream media's accountability era just kicked off. While late-night hosts tiptoed like they were on legal landmines, Rogan lit the path with a blowtorch. I don't do cue cards, he scoffed. I do truth. And if it stings, good. And sting it did. Viewers started calling The View what it had become, a fossil of fake outrage, rattling its last cage. Demands for resignations rolled in. Some wanted the entire format ripped apart and rebuilt. Rogan's takedown wasn't a roast. It was a mirror. A brutal, hilarious, undeniable mirror. He exposed their tired routine. Attack first, apologize later, pretend you're the victim. But this time, someone fired back with a lawsuit and a megaphone, and a nation that had finally had enough. The game changed, the rules changed, and Rogan made sure every smug pundit in America saw it. If you smear people without proof, he warned, get ready to pay in court. Millions agreed. People were done with manufactured meltdowns and zero consequences. As ABC's lawyers scrambled to stop the bleeding, the brand was already in freefall. No PR spin, no lawyerly phrasing could cover the gash Rogan had carved wide open. This wasn't just a takedown. It was a media exorcism, a firestorm turned full-blown circus. And the question on everyone's mind, will The View even survive the aftermath? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure. Joe Rogan and Charlie Kirk just sent a message that echoed across every network studio in America. Lie on live TV, and you better be ready to write a check with a whole lot of zeros.